Imagine hiring a clown to entertain kids at a birthday party, only to later discover that the man behind the painted smile was hiding one of the darkest secrets in American history. This is the chilling story of John Wayne Gacy, a man who fooled an entire community while living a double life as one of the most terrifying serial killers the world has ever known. In the 1970s, Gacy was the kind of neighbor people trusted. He lived in a quiet suburb near Chicago, often hosting barbecues, volunteering in local events, and even dressing up as Pogo the Clown to perform at hospitals and children's parties. To most, he seemed friendly, cheerful, and harmless. But behind the red nose and painted smile was a predator who preyed on the vulnerable. What made Gacy so terrifying wasn't just the crimes he committed, it was how normal he looked on the outside. He was a businessman, a respected community member, and a man who appeared to care about others. But underneath that image, Gacy was hiding a deadly obsession. He lured young men and teenage boys with promises of work, money, or simply a good time. Many never came back. To his victims, Gacy's home seemed like just another ordinary suburban house. But inside, it was a house of horrors that concealed a nightmare. The chilling part? No one suspected a thing for years. Gacy's smiling mask kept his dark truth hidden, even as dozens of boys vanished in the Chicago area. Parents searched, police investigated, but Gacy remained above suspicion until one night when everything started to unravel. Behind the clown costume was not laughter, but pure evil. And soon, the mask would finally come off. By day, John Wayne Gacy was the picture of a hardworking American man. He ran a successful construction business, employed young men in his neighborhood, and was even active in local politics. To the outside world, he seemed like someone who cared about community and family. But at night, his true self emerged, a predator who used charm and false promises to lure his victims. Gacy's construction business became his hunting ground. He often offered teenage boys and young men jobs, telling them they could earn quick money helping with small projects. Many of these boys came from troubled homes or were runaways, making them easy targets. Once he had them in his house, Gacy's demeanor shifted from friendly to terrifying. One of his most disturbing tactics was pretending to be a magician or a policeman. He would show his victims handcuffs and claim he wanted to demonstrate a trick. Once the cuffs clicked shut, the trick was over. His victims were trapped. Gacy's house in Norwood Park Township, a quiet Chicago suburb, became the center of his double life. Neighbors thought it was just another suburban home. They had no idea that underneath the floorboards of that house, horrors were piling up. Gacy buried many of his victims in the crawl space below his home, creating what police later called a human graveyard. What's most chilling is how long he kept this secret. Between 1972 and 1978, more than 30 young men disappeared, yet Gacy remained above suspicion. He smiled at neighbors, waved at police officers, and painted his clown makeup for children, all while living among his victims' remains. Police had small clues, missing person reports, sightings of Gacy with young boys, and whispers of his violent behavior. But each time, Gacy managed to dodge serious suspicion. His charm and standing in the community worked like armor, protecting him from the truth. Still, pressure was building. Families were demanding answers, investigators were connecting dots, and the walls around Gacy's double life were slowly beginning to close in. The mask of the clown was cracking, and soon, the nightmare inside his house would be exposed to the world. By the late 1970s, police in Chicago were struggling with a troubling pattern. Young men and teenage boys were vanishing without a trace. Families filed missing person reports, but the cases rarely led anywhere. Many of the victims were last seen near Gacy's construction business or in his company, yet he always managed to appear innocent. That all changed in December 1978. On December 11th, a 15-year-old boy named Robert Piest disappeared after leaving work at a pharmacy. Witnesses said the boy had mentioned meeting a man about a job in construction. That man was John Wayne Gacy. When police first questioned him, Gacy acted confident, almost mocking the detectives. He claimed he knew nothing about the boy and insisted he was being harassed. But investigators weren't convinced. They began following him, searching his past, and quietly gathering evidence. What they found was alarming. Gacy already had a criminal history involving sexual assault of teenage boys. Suddenly, the friendly clown and community man didn't look so harmless anymore. Detectives obtained a search warrant for his house. At first, the search didn't reveal much, just strange items like handcuffs, a police badge, and clothing that seemed too small for Gacy to wear. But the strongest clue was the smell. Officers noted a foul odor seeping from beneath the floor. Gacy explained it away, saying it was just plumbing issues. As the investigation intensified, Gacy grew nervous. He was followed everywhere, and the pressure began to crack his confident mask. Friends later recalled that he drank heavily and acted paranoid, as if he knew his time was running out. Finally, police returned for a second search. This time, they uncovered the horror that had been hidden for years. In the crawl space beneath Gacy's home, officers found human remains. One body, then another, and another. The shocking discovery turned Gacy's quiet suburban house into one of the most infamous crime scenes in American history. What had once looked like just another neighborhood home was revealed to be a graveyard for his victims. The truth was finally out. The clown mask was gone, and the killer was exposed. The arrest of John Wayne Gacy in December 1978 shocked the nation. What had started as a missing persons case turned into one of the deadliest crime sprees in American history. Police eventually uncovered the remains of 29 young men and boys buried beneath Gacy's house, with others found nearby. The cheerful man who once dressed as Pogo the Clown for children's parties was now known as one of the most terrifying serial killers in the United States. When Gacy finally faced trial in 1980, the courtroom was packed with journalists, victims' families, and horrified citizens. The evidence was overwhelming: testimonies from survivors, physical evidence from his home, and the sheer number of victims tied directly to him. Yet Gacy tried to escape responsibility. He claimed he suffered from mental illness, even suggesting he had an alternate personality that committed the murders. His lawyers argued insanity, but the jury wasn't convinced. The trial lasted 5 weeks, and every day revealed new disturbing details about his crimes. When the verdict came, it was clear: Gacy was found guilty of 33 counts of murder. The judge sentenced him to death. For 14 years, Gacy sat on death row at Menard Correctional Center. During that time, he remained arrogant and unrepentant. He gave interviews where he dismissed his crimes, calling himself the 33rd victim. He even took up painting, creating disturbing self-portraits of himself as a clown that later sold for thousands of dollars. On May 10, 1994, justice was finally carried out. John Wayne Gacy was executed by lethal injection. His last words were chilling and defiant: "Kiss my ass." Even after his death, Gacy's story continues to haunt America. He became a symbol of evil hiding in plain sight. A man who blended into his community while committing horrific crimes behind closed doors. The discovery of his victims changed how police handle missing persons cases and forever scarred the families left behind. The legacy of John Wayne Gacy is not one of entertainment or laughter, but of horror. His story is a dark reminder that sometimes the most terrifying monsters wear the friendliest masks.